Let's start with the vaccine. Obviously, we've spent part of Sunday watching some of the B-roll, Jim, of the deliveries beginning to leave Kalamazoo, making their way around the country. Azar's on the Today Show today saying that the general population might actually get some access to these late February, early March. That's a little earlier than we'd heard before.
Brett, I think that there are a lot of people who just feel that this is something that is May, June, July. It's obviously not. And we really haven't heard from Moderna yet. I think Moderna's going to be great. There will be a plethora. I've been predicting vaccine glut by the end of the first quarter because I'm still banking on J&J. But, yeah, and as you hear these things, you start thinking, you know what, maybe I should make some calls. Maybe CBS is going to have it sooner than we thought. Maybe there's a line. We obviously don't know. And this state-by-state thing is just the opposite of the way the polio vaccine works. But, you know, Carl, look, there's no doubt about it that this is a historic moment. And everyone should be, I think, a little bit more happy than they were, say, before November 30th, when we didn't know that we were going to have such good results here. David, you disagree?
No, of course I don't disagree. I thought Carl might chime in there. No, I don't disagree. It's a momentous day. We all know that. We continue to grapple with a lot of questions. To your point, Jim, was how quickly it will be distributed, how quickly we will get back to some semblance of normal in terms of overall behavior. We'll couple that with the continued back and forth from the Senate and the House in terms of any real, hope for a relief bill prior to at least President-elect Biden taking office, 5 or so weeks from now, I guess. So, still a lot of things we're dealing with, Jim, including, unfortunately, rising case counts and deaths as well from COVID right. and lockdowns. I mean, here in the New York area, New York City, restaurants indoors now, not going to be open. Yeah,
New York City is adopting a posture that I think the rest of the country could, which is that the current work, the WHO is kind of almost there, CDC almost there. The current work that we're discovering is that restaurants are the most dangerous place because you can't wear your mask, and unless the ventilation is correct, it is an incubator. I know one of the reasons why I closed my place was the work is just so. It's as Andrew said, it's science. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The work is extraordinary in terms of finding out where people get it. Because it's basically a super spreader event, David, when you're in a restaurant. And it's terrible. Some people, like Eric Repair at Bernardin, solved the problem because he spent a huge amount of money making it so the air circulates. But it has to do with air circulation, David, and we don't have, most places don't have it. So I think that people are going to follow New York, and that's why I think that what you're going to end up with is Chipotle, an upgrade today, McDonald's. You're going to see the companies that know how to do takeout winning. Because you can't have people in your restaurant. Can't.
Although, Carl, to be fair, indoor gatherings appear to be by far the most significant factor in the continued spread of the virus. Although, as Jim says, restaurants are up there, but percentage-wise, at least in New York, from the numbers that we were able to see that the governor released, I think it is simply indoor gatherings, and then, unfortunately, still healthcare workers as well, or in the healthcare world where the rates of transmission are still high.
Carl, one of the things that
it was struck by what Gottlieb said, Jim, on Friday, and that was that we can't ask restaurant owners and the workers in the restaurant industry to bear the brunt of the collective action that we need to take, which sort of brings us to this new iteration of compromise stimulus proposal that might be broken into two parts, the less controversial at the front end.
Well, look, I'm not pleading for money for this restaurant group. I'm just saying that one of the things that Secretary Mnuchin made a point of at the very beginning was we need business interruption insurance. It's not the fault of any restaurants. They're doing their darn best. So, yeah, they got to break it up. They got to give these restaurants some relief, or else we're really just going to deal with national chains that have very good balance sheets. The smaller guys, they're just going to go out one by one. And the next thing you're going to discover is any attempt to make it so that there's a tent with flaps but doesn't open, that's going to be shut down too. Those are big places of incubators. Only if it's wide open on two sides would you feel very confident. So I think that people should recognize that Dr. Gottlieb said he is not going to a restaurant. This is very serious. And no matter what I did, I felt that I had some unlimited firepower to make my restaurant so that it could be meet these criteria, and couldn't do it. And David, believe me, the people who do not, I'm not bragging that you know what I mean. I'm lucky enough to have means. But David, most of these guys, it's like that week's payroll. So they will go out one by one, and we'll end up at the end of this with something that we all really enjoy in every city gone, unless we get relief.
No doubt. And the employees that go along with it. Don't forget that. It's not just, obviously, those of us who enjoy going to a restaurant, but it's all the people who work in them.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.